And, Hawaii's pretty careful, but it's open. I mean, tourists are coming here from all over the world, and
It's almost like they got the flag there, the bull. They're going, okay, come in, but let's close it down again.
yeah, not so much in Hawaii, but the rest of the mainland, well, of course, it's very political.
So those were the three.
Totally political.
Yeah. So
anyway,
We've got two
two more.
We start.
Yeah, until everyone that's here will be here.
So maybe we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Can you all of you guys, if you can make sure that you are muted, so that we don't have background noises happening. I know it's really early in the morning. And thank you for those Queenslanders. I knew those sounds would start coming through at this time of the morning.
Just stop.
Hey, Lisa, are you able to? Oh, maybe I'll go in and mute you. Hang on a second. Where is she? No, I can't mute her.
No, she's
muted.
She's
done it. Good girl. Well done.
That was funny.
Is it 7 a.m. there?
Yes.
Yep.
But we have a lot of Queenslanders on, and it's 6 a.m. for them. So they're really keen to hear you, Richard.
Well, thank you.
And
it's 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. here, but I've got a big day in front of me, and I need to get started on it. So thank you all for getting up early.
And guess who you're competing with next week?
I have no idea.
On the Fun Team Lifestyle page on our Sunday Live, you're competing with Mary Young.
What?
Yeah, Mary's talking to the Fun Team.
Wow, that's great. Well, I will
Hurry up, Bob.
Mary.
Yeah, everyone has to take a second place to Mary, but you're first after her.
Well, thanks. That's awesome.
So just remember, guys, put your phone on mute. Lisa, we can still hear you on your phone.
The kids grabbed it, they unmuted it.
Usually pretty good. Hello. Okay, Kim Thompson, can you unmute yourself and just let me know how I can just shut her down?
If you go onto there and go like this, it should say mute. Where is the mute gone?
I think, Richard, I actually made you the host.
Oh, you can do it.
So,
Linda, you should be able to mute everyone except me.
Well,
I've actually made you the host.
Yeah,
so
but where is that gone? That mute everyone button. I can't find it.
Oh, once you've made Richard the host, Richard, you lose host privileges. So Richard, you'll have to mute everybody.
yeah.
Richard, if you can make Alan the co-host, then they can kind of have a little control back.
It's not actually giving me any of those options, Susie.
Why do they change it so often?
So under more, Susie, it's only giving me 3 options to go live on Facebook, YouTube, or Workplace.
What's your mute button do on the bottom left? What's it do when you click on that little up?
Yeah, that's only for my mute.
No, the actual little arrow. When I click on it, gives me a whole bunch of.
Yeah, but just for me. Like it only gives me options for me.
Okay, let's just change us back to
that is weird.
Host.
That is weird. Hey, what about up there? Mute there, Lisa. Can you find Lisa there? Scroll up. And you mute from there. Hey, what? No, Lisa? Lisa's phone. There it is. Mute. Disappeared just then. What happened to it?
Hang on. Let's just make us the host.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I found it. Maybe
Okay.
I found it. Nope. No option
Hang on,
here.
Lisa's gone now.
Oh, she's hung up.
Now Lisa's gone completely. The kids have turned the phone off. These smart little kids. Okay, well, let's start.
Okay, let's start. It's 3 minutes over. Go.
Okay, we're introducing Mr. Super MLM Man. And by the way, if you've never seen Richard, go onto YouTube and type in Super MLM Man, and you'll go back in history and you will find this super giant of a man with a microphone and a cape. He leaps tall multi-level companies in a single bound. He bends oil bottles with his spare hands. And who's disguised as Richard Bliss Brooks? He's a marvel. So go and check him out. You'll laugh, you'll have fun, and he'll entertain you like he's about to give you some fantastic information this morning. So that's the introduction. Drum roll. Over to you, Richard.
Well, thank you, Alan. I think my last Super MLM episode was actually in Salt Lake City during the national convention 2 years ago. And so I produced 2 versions of it. One was just public people that I ran into in the mall. What Super MLM does is he asks people on the street what they think about multi-level marketing. So he gets some pretty interesting responses. And then one of the last ones I edited, Susie could probably even find it and drop a link in here to it if you want to watch it, was just the Young Living distributors that I ran into, because of course there was 25,000 of them running around Salt Lake. And so I happened to just randomly meet some of them, and I put them in one Young Living Super MLM Man episode. We're going to get into whatever you guys want to talk about, questions and answers, but Alan and Linda did ask me to start off with telling you how Kimmy and I ended up in Young Living and why Young Living, why you, why now, why it's such a great opportunity. We do want to oh, I might have just, that was Satya, and I think I got her muted. Because I'm not going to do this in competition with
good one. Thank you.
Crying children. So, why Young Living, why you, and why now? Well, first, I'll tell you the quick story about how we ended up here. Some of you may know or may not know that for 35 years, I owned my own network marketing company. And prior to joining Young Living, I had absolutely no intention, no plan of doing anything other than building my own network marketing company. But for many years, as an owner of my network marketing company, I also dabbled in supporting leaders that I'd met and really enjoyed and respected that were in other companies. I supported them, sometimes coached them. Once a year, I did a retreat that any leader in any network marketing company could come to. I wrote a book called The 4-Year Career, and it featured many different leaders from many different companies. And one of the first people that ever came to one of my retreats that I worked with was Brenda Shuler. And she's a Royal Crown Diamond in Minnesota in Young Living. And that was kind of my first exposure to Young Living, the successful network marketing company. And I worked with Brenda for a while. And this is maybe 10, 12 years ago, a long time ago. And we became friends. And then, there's some other people, Levon Litza, and, a few names of crowns and diamonds and Royal Crown Diamonds that I coached and came to my retreats. And then one day, this young 22-year-old kid came. He actually emailed me or messaged me and said, "Hey, can I drive down and have breakfast with you? I'm in Young Living and I want to build a big empire." And so I noticed he'd been buying quite a few 4-Year Career books. So I said, "Yeah, sure, come on down, we'll have breakfast." So I had breakfast with him, and we talked for a couple hours, and we went outside. And it was at my golf club and it was kind of raining outside. And he says, all right, thanks. We'll see you later. And I said, well, you know, where are you going? Where do you live? And he said, well, I live in Red Deer, Alberta, which was a 9-hour drive. He drove 18-hour round trip to have breakfast with me. And that young man was Adam Green. And Adam like initiated creating the very first Young Living custom edition of the 4-year career. And that was after he bought thousands of copies of it for his team. And Adam came to one of my 7-day retreats, and then I ended up coaching him. And in the next 4 years, he went from, I don't know, maybe silver, something like that, to Royal Crown Diamond. And then he started bringing a lot of other people into my coaching programs and into the 4-year career. And as a result of that, Kimmy and I got to know quite a few Young Living leaders. And at our retreats, we would ask whoever was there, you know, how long have you been in your company? How many people are on your team? You know, what kind of rank are you? Stuff like that. And, you know, the answer from the Young Living people, which after a while was about half of the crowd, were things like, well, I've been in Young Living for 7 years and I just was a customer and I just figured out a couple of years ago that you could build a team. And so I started building a team and now I have 10,000 people on my team, or 5,000 people on my team, or 2,000 people on my team. And the success stories were really impressive. They were inspiring. And so Kimmy and I started digging into, well, why is Young Living having so much success? Because compared to our company, people in Young Living were having much more success than our sales leaders were. And so we looked at, well, maybe it's the essential oils, maybe it's the product line. And then I started talking to other network marketing companies that had, because of Young Living, added essential oils to their product lines. I talked to the owners and basically they said it hasn't made any difference at all in our sales. And, you know, long story short, yes, the products are the #1 reason why Young Living is so successful, but it's not just because Young Living has essential oils. It's the whole culture, it's the community, it's the history, it's the farms, it's seed to seal. It's a very magical recipe that Gary and Mary have put together over the last 26 years that has not been duplicated. Lots of people have tried. So Kimmy and I just started studying Young Living, and, you know, long story short, we had lunch with Adam and Vanessa Green after we met with Young Living 2 or 3 times, and we were just about to acquire another company ourselves as a network marketing company and take on a big investor and grow our business. And the same day we told that company, no, we're not going to acquire you, we're not going to take you on as an investor, somebody else as an investor, we told the management team and Adam Green in Young Living, it was like a 10-minute time span between the 2 phone calls, you know what we're actually going to do? We're going to roll our company into Young Living. And that was almost 4 years ago. And, you know, best decision we've ever made professionally, to be part of such an extraordinary movement, such an extraordinary community. Our people are having more success than they had in our company, which is, you know, that's a wonderful thing. You know, it's, everybody wants to own their own company and, you know, be able to control their own destiny totally. But if what you're really up to is leading people to have success, then, you know, what you want to do is, like, you know, help people and lead people to having success. And the best way we figured out how to do that was actually roll everybody into Young Living. And so I want to give you some numbers. I'm kind of a numbers guy, kind of a metrics guy. I'm kind of half and half. I'm half people, half numbers. But I want to give you some numbers that might support you in building up your belief and your conviction. Rachel, could you mute your phone, please? I can't find you on here to mute you. just trust that happened.
Yep, she's
It's done.
she's unmuted. It's good. She
Okay.
did herself. Thanks, Rachel.
So here's some numbers that you just might want to write down. It's kind of an equation. If you're ever talking to somebody about Young Living, like seriously talking to them about, hey, why would you might want to consider joining this from an income option? And, most people know that, I've only been in Young Living 4 years. I'm not a mom. I'm in great health. None of the Young Living products have saved my life for, given me the kind of stories that so many of you have. I have a grand appreciation for these products, and I'll tell you why in this story I'm going to tell you. But it's different than a lot of people in Young Living have as a grand appreciation for the products. I'm going to give you kind of a matrix of why I think Young Living is the most extraordinary personal development, life-changing income option that any of us could have the opportunity to pursue. And the products are the key to that. Without the Young Living product line, there is no income option. There's a lot of companies that have tried just putting products like this together, and it doesn't make any difference at all. So I'm going to give you a series of numbers. I'll run down through this pretty quick. You can write the numbers down. You can probably go back and watch this to fill in how I talk about the numbers, and then we'll get into Q&A. So the first number is the number 1. Most important number in the opportunity is the number 1. And what 1 stands for is one owner. Now, most people in network marketing never even think about who owns the company or how many people own the company, or, is it a partnership? Is it a public company? But the fact that one person owns this company, one close family, which now is Mary and the 2 boys eventually, right? The fact that one person owns this company makes a great deal of difference in the security and the validity of the financial opportunity over the next 50 years. Now, yes, it's possible that Mary could sell the company, but you and I know she won't. If that was going to happen, that would have happened already. If money was the motivator, they'd have already cashed in, multi-billionaires. That's not the motive. Mary has proven, as Gary did prove, that they're in this forever. And that's critical to you and I, because when we're investing our time and energy to build our team and build our income, the real asset, the real value economically that building and Young Living has is you have the opportunity to build something once. Maybe it takes you 2 years, maybe it takes you 12 years. It doesn't really matter how long it takes you, but you have the opportunity to build something once and then get paid forever. And how long is forever? Well, it's forever. And people don't think about, like, okay, if you're actually courageous and have the great leadership and vision and do the work, and you actually build an income in Young Living, let's just say it's $1,000 a month. How long do you want that $1,000 a month to come in? And people say forever, but they don't ever really define how long is forever. Is 20 years long enough? And some people might say, well, yeah, 20 years would be great. Well, yeah, okay, so what if it's 19 years, 9 months from now, and I send you a notice that says, oh, by the way, your $1,000 a month, you've only got 3 more months of that. Can you get a sense of how that would feel? Or if it's $5,000 a month, how that would feel? We don't want that money to stop ever. And the number one thing that determines whether or not your income is going to stop is the ownership of the company. That's where the buck stops. That's where the philosophy is. That's where the values are. That's where the commitment is. That's where the vision and leadership is. And Mary has proven, as Gary has proven, that they're in this forever, that they're in this to provide you and I with an income based on the sales that we create from our team, that we're going to get paid on those sales forever. And they've proven that with now almost 27 years of never caving in the face of adversity. So how many times do you think Gary and Mary had the opportunity to just pack it in and do something else, especially in the first 10 years? hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of opportunities. You think you and I have it tough as sales leaders? Imagine owning the company, the whole company, the global company, all the products, all the suppliers, all the sales leaders, all the customers, all the problems. And, sometimes the problems were huge. They've never even blinked in 27 years. And so that's huge. The next number is number 10. Okay, so we got a great owner. So what? Well, we're also the number 10 network marketing company in the world in size. We're number 10. So these numbers go in lowest to highest, not necessarily the most important number, although the number 1 is the most important number. Number 10 is, at $2.2 billion, we're the number 10 network marketing company in the world. And some of the companies that we're competing against have been in business for, 50 or 60 years, twice as long. And so that's important, right? Because there's thousands of network marketing companies, probably 3,000 network marketing companies in the world. There's probably 30 or 40 of them that have similar product lines to Young Living in terms of just what they sell. But Young Living, number 10 in the world. And if you factor in all the companies that have come and gone in the last 27 years, it is an extraordinary accomplishment what this company has done. The third number, 26 years in business. Now, what does that mean? Well, it speaks to what I was talking about earlier, that this company is not about promises. When a company launches, when a new company, a startup company launches, what they compete with in the marketplace are promises. What they tell people are, we're going to be the biggest, we're going to be the fastest, we're going to do things better, we're going to have perfect shipping, we're going to always be in stock, our compensation plan is going to pay you more money than anybody else, it's going to be so much easier to do it here than any other company. These are all promises, and they don't mean anything. It's just marketing, right? Somebody made up, oh, hey, let's tell them this, let's tell them that, let's tell them this. But they don't have any track record on which to base that on. Young Living has 26 years of proof. So the distinction that you want to pay attention to when it comes to startup companies is promises over proof. What you're looking for is proof, because proof is something you can take to the bank. Next number is 30, which represents 30% annual growth. Now that number has changed, of course, as the years have gone by, but that's the number approximately since I've been involved. Since I've been watching Young Living, 30% annual growth. It's one of the most remarkable things. I haven't actually tracked this, but if you look at the top 10 companies in the world in network marketing, Young Living might have had the highest new revenue, new growth in 2020 of any of those 10 companies. Not just in percentage, but total revenue, like $200 million worth of growth. And that's not easy for a $2 billion company. It's real easy for a company that's doing $20 million a year to have 100% growth. That's just doubling the growth. But when you're that small, it's easy. When you're $2 billion, it's not easy. And yet Young Living just keeps growing. But here's the number that got me. And Adam Green provided me with this number. I started poking around in Adam's virtual office and asking him questions about his business so I could understand how he grew so fast. And it's this number that got me. And that number is 40. And it represents 40% of the members in Young Living are on ER, which soon to be called something else, right? I don't know, Pack and Save or Ship and Save or something, but for here, we'll call it Essential Rewards. And what does that mean? That means of all the people, which is something like, what a subscription. Yeah, I'm sure there's a good reason for changing that, but I don't remember what it is. But I'll call it Essential Rewards here. You can edit it if you want for the future. But of all the people, like 6 million people that have ever joined Young Living, 40% of them are on Essential Rewards. Now, this is a number that in my company, I tracked ferociously. This is a number that I would pay deep attention to. Once people come into my company and get on the products, what percentage of them stay on the product? And you know what my percentage was? And I'd been in business at the time for 33 years. And I thought I knew a lot about network marketing and customers and products. My number was 8% in my company, 8%. And companies like Nu Skin and Herbalife and Amway, their numbers single digits, low single digits, 1, 2, 3%. Young Living's 40%. In my view of the network marketing profession, which I have been doing this full time for 45 years, I have never seen a company remotely as close to 40%. Like the most I've ever seen is maybe 20%. And those companies, you know, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. And so when I looked at leading my distributors, my sales force down a journey of 8% retention. So, you know, if 100 people get on the products and you track them a year or two later, I had 8 to 10 still on the products versus 40. And if you map that out over 5 or 10 years, one company is 10 times bigger than the other. And so how I looked at that was I was leading my sales force down a path where they're leaving 90% of their growth on the table because I don't have 40% retention. That number right there is what makes the financial opportunity in Young Living so rewarding, so rich, with so much upside. Because, you know, and what I've learned since from talking to people in Young Living is the key to that 40% is just get people on subscription for 3 months in a row. If you can get people on subscription for 3 months in a row, almost all of them stay on long term. 3 months, that's the holy grail. That's the magic. You get them on subscription ER for 3 months, you probably have them for life. And, you know, that's magical. So that's the number that got me involved. The next number is 80%. Now, this is a number that is valuable for people in North America, but about 80% of Young Living sales are still in North America. What does that mean? It means the rest of the world is still available for growth. And so is North America, right? Some people may think, well, I've been in North America for 26 years. It's probably saturated. You know, Kimmy and my team is all North America. We're building everything here. Now, everybody I talk to about Young Living, never heard of it before. So there's tremendous upside in North America. But if you look at the network marketing industry and you look at the history of, you know, the biggest companies in the profession, most of their sales and most of their growth is outside of North America. And Young Living has just started to scratch that scratch. So the fact that we have all of this international expansion in front of us just speaks to tremendous growth for the next 25 years. Second to last number is 90%. This is a really important number from an integrity standpoint and a legal standpoint. 90% of the members in Young Living are just customers. So, you know, if somebody ever says to you, oh, this is a pyramid scheme, of course, they don't know what they're talking about. But if they did know what they were talking about, and they looked at the fact that 90% of the people in Young Living are just customers, repeat customers, they're using the product month in and month out. They're not enrolling people. They're not trying to earn money. They're not part of the compensation plan. They're not part of the MLM thing. That makes Young Living, that statistic right there is all anybody needs to know about whether or not this is a legitimate opportunity. And the last number is 100%. And I just made this number up, 100%. And what do I mean by 100%? 100% odds that Young Living is going to be the next $10 billion company, which will make it the largest network marketing company in the world. It's a foregone conclusion. It's only 500% growth. Just needs to go from 2.2 to 4 billion to 8 billion and then to 10 and then to 20. And why do I expect that's going to happen? Because there's no company this size that's growing like Young Living is, and no company that has the products that Young Living has, no company that has a single owner with a singular vision, nobody has the culture, nobody has the community, nobody has the product lines. And even though Young Living is almost 27 years old, it's really just getting started. And one of the things it's really just getting started on, I've just seen it since I've been here in the last 2 years, is Young Living leaders are starting to figure out that, yes, we have these extraordinary products that we love educating people about and we love immersing ourselves in as customers. But there's a shift underway in Young Living that is actually looking to embrace the fact that we are a network marketing company. And with being a network marketing company comes the opportunity to build a team of customers, a team of sales leaders, and to build financial security, financial abundance, maybe financial freedom for ourselves. And that opportunity historically in Young Living, and ironically, has been kind of shunned. Like, you know, if you talk about the income option, you are somehow dishonoring the product line. And I see that changing in Young Living, where people are understanding, because of this product line, we have the opportunity to help people bring extra income into their lives, get their products for free, make an extra $500 a month, or if they want, change their life financially. And it's kind of ironic that historically there's been this attitude that avoids the income option in Young Living, because Gary and Mary chose network marketing intentionally. Mary was a very successful and very fierce network marketing leader. And they chose network marketing intentionally, knowing if we want to get Young Living oils in every home, there's only one model that's going to do that. And it's not a model where Gary and Mary are seeing how much product they can personally sell. It's a model where they see how many other people they can get selling the product. And the only model that accomplishes that is network marketing, because it allows every customer, every authentic raving fan customer, to have the option of enrolling other customers. And those new customers have the option of enrolling other customers. And that gives you an exponential growth of the customer base and the sales force. And that's the only way we're going to get oils in every home. We're not going to do it with 2 million distributors or 6 million distributors. We're going to need 60 million or 600 million distributors. And the only way we're going to get that is for people to embrace the income option, have it be okay, learn about it, feel good about it, learn to do it authentically and ethically. And everybody at different levels. Some people may just want to get their products for free. Some people just want a few $100s a month. And some people want to build an empire. And because I see that changing attitude in Young Living, I think we're a deadlock cinch for 10 billion and then 20 billion, and a lifelong financial opportunity for all of us. And that's why Young Living, why you, and why now. And I now turn it back to you.
Wow.
Once I lost the Simpson.
I've unmuted, so when you get that opportunity, just do it. But now, everyone, it's question time for the people on the screen. That was powerful information. If you don't get it now, I don't think you will. It's time to get it. There's no jumping. That's probably something that Richard will cover at some point, I guess, is people like to jump from this ship to that ship because they think that ship's better, which you did touch on.
Or from this book to this book, that course to that
So,
course.
oh man, the course junkies, that's all. They just do courses after courses after courses. They go to this course, that one, that one, that one. There's so many courses around.
And courses are good.
Courses are good. It's only
Courses
if
are
you
good.
get a person that knows what they're talking about.
I know, not really. I think courses are good if people action what they
Oh,
learn,
yeah,
right?
sorry. Yeah, that's more
If
accurate.
they action what they learn, then a course is good.
Yeah.
If you don't and you just want to know another one, then it's not good.
Yeah.
So let's
Well, I'll give you my short course on courses. So there's really only one thing. I'll say this. Let's say there's three things. There's three things that you and I need to do to become successful. Any of you out there, doesn't matter what rank you are, three things you need to do to be successful. One is you need to be a product of the product. You have to be an authentic raving fan of the product. You need to have at least one Young Living product that you rave about, that you will use for the rest of your life, whether you ever make any money or not. That's number one. If you can't do that authentically, you can't do this. You can't play this game. You can't build anything. You have to be an authentic customer. And the second thing you have to be willing to do is tell your story. You have to be willing to share your story with other people if you want to build a business and earn money. And the third thing you have to do is invite people to take a look at doing what you're doing. Three simple things. Now, I'm going to show you how simple it is. And here's where people get bogged down and why they keep enrolling in courses and buying books. And you know, if people spent as much time doing 1, 2, and 3, especially 2 and 3, it doesn't take any time to use the products, but tell your story and invite people to take a look. If people spend as much time telling their story and inviting people to take a look as they spent scrolling social media and listening to YouTube videos and studying, they'd probably build a huge business. And I'm not anti-studying. I'm totally in favor of studying and finding coaches and finding mentors. But that ought to be about 5% of the time you spend in the business. And the rest of the time ought to be, as Linda said, executing, implementing, be in action, because courses don't make you any money. Courses don't build a team. Only action does. But so if you could sort of epitomize people that are stuck, people that are procrastinating, people that are blaming, they blame the marketplace, they blame the competitors, they blame Young Living, they blame their upline, they blame their family, and they don't do anything. People that are stuck, people that are afraid, people that are hiding, people that are playing small, people that are blaming, you could sort of epitomize their stuckness in 3 rhetorical questions. And these are questions that they speak into the universe, including they speak into their upline. And one of those questions sounds like this, and the mood in which I express the question expresses the mood of the sales leader, the member. And it's a mood of resignation. And it sounds like this. Well, who do I talk to? Right? So maybe some of you have asked that question. And then what they do is, if they're still motivated, they'll go sign up in a course or read some books or do something to try to figure out where to find people to talk to. And you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on gurus who will teach you who to talk to. Usually, like, do this campaign, do this blitz on social media, and you'll have all these people to talk to. So once people get through that, if they're still in resignation, the next question they ask is, well, what do I say to them? And then, of course, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars learning what to say to people. Right? And as soon as then you get that one out of the way, the last question is, well, what do I do if people say no? So those 3 questions epitomize people being stuck. And if they're still not going to quit, if they're still engaged, then they will buy courses to help them get unstuck. I'll give you a shortcut to all of that and maybe shine some light on it. Skills are important, but skills do not make a successful network marketer. Skills are like icing on the cake. You can get to $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month in Young Living with very little skills. What do you need skills for? Well, to sharpen your axe, right? To take the success that you've created and polish it. That's what skills are for. So you might get to $5,000 a month without skills, and you add some skills to it, and maybe that'll get you to $7,000 a month. But the number one thing that gets you to $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month in income is not skills, it's motivation. It's you just being on fire about the opportunity. And I'm going to be giving you an example of what it feels like in your body to be on fire about the opportunity, to have the motivation required to do the work. I want you to imagine that Young Living changed the entire comp plan. Again, only this time they scrapped all the ranks and scrapped all the levels and they scrapped all the percentages and they just massively simplified the plan. And the plan works like this. Young Living will pay you $500 a day, US. We'll give you a little bonus. They'll pay you $500 a day, and all they ask you to do is ask 2 people a day if they'll look at Young Living and hear your story. And actually have a conversation with those 2 people. So you can't just send out a message, you have to get a response. They're going to pay you $500 a day no matter what the response is. Somebody says no, you get paid $500. Somebody says maybe, and they give you the runaround for the next 6 months, you still get $500. They're going to pay you to tell your story and ask people to take a look. $500 a day. You have to do it every day. So you can't piecemeal it. Why? Because Young Living understands that if you'll do it every day, then the result of you being consistent in your storytelling and your invites is going to be eventually, might take a year, it might take 2 years, but eventually there's going to be this massive response to your consistency where you talk to a couple of people every day. That's like 700 people a year. And out of those 700 people, there's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 Simpsons. And Young Living knows how much those people are worth. So they'll pay you $500 a day to talk to 2 people. That's $15,000 a month. Are you all clear? You all have access to the chat, right? So for $500 a day, my question to all of you is, could you? Now think about the physical ability. Could you do whatever you have to do? Send out however smoke signals, carrier pigeons, email blast, text messages, whatever you need to do. Could you send out enough asks so that you get 2 people a day to respond to you? Worst case, pick up the phone and call somebody. Could you? So notice how important it is that you get in your body and you get in your mind and you get in your heart, in spite of all the rhetoric that you might have told yourself, all the excuses, all the procrastination, all the stuff. Notice how clear you are right now that you could. And that's a question and answer that if you'll stay present to it every day, will support you in building an empire. And the next question is, would you? Is $500 a day enough to motivate you to do whatever you have to do to talk to 2 people? $15,000 a month? Think about it. It is, right? For most people, it is. And so then here's a few other questions, important questions. Who would you talk to?
So easy.
Can you put that in the chat? Yes. Now, yeah. So Alan says, Naomi says, everyone, but actually I'm going to give you a little shift in that, in the answer. It's not everyone. It's anyone. Right? Because you only need to talk to 2 people a day. So you don't need to talk to everyone. Just anyone. And then the second question is, what would you say to them? And I'll help you with the answer to this. You don't know. Not now, you don't know. But if you got paid $500 a day to talk to 2 of them, here's what I do know. In the moment, when you had to say something to them, like they respond or you would figure it out. Because we're all capable of figuring it out. We've all done it already. Everybody on this Zoom, I know, has talked to people about Young Living. So you know how to talk to people, how to tell people your story, how to invite them to take, you know how to do it. So what would you say to them? I don't know, but you'd figure it out. And here's the last question. What would you do if they said no? Remember, you just get paid to ask. Right. Thank you, Lisa. It's like, whatever. You could actually say, somebody said no, you could say, ching, another $500. Thank you. Right. So if you can kind of get the sense of the freedom and the peace and the power that comes with that model, where you get paid $500 a day to tell your story to 2 people and ask them to take a look, and it doesn't matter what they say in response. If you can kind of imagine how you would feel and how you would roll in that financial compensation plan, that'll give you an idea of the people that are successful in Young Living. They figure out how to get in that mood. Now, why is it so easy to roll under the $500 a day comp plan, but not so easy to roll in the get paid 10 levels, 10 different ranks, 15 different ways to get paid? I'll give you a clue, which might surprise you. The reason so many of us spend time being stuck is not because we can't, not because we don't have the skills, not because we need another program or workshop or book. It's because we don't believe in the inevitability that if we do the work, that the work will be worth it. We see other people like the Simpsons that have done it. We see Royal Crown Diamonds, but there's something missing for us in understanding the journey, the equation. Okay, what exactly did they do every day? And how did that progressively develop into an income that's worth it? So if there's one thing that I would encourage you all to study, if you're stuck, is study the inevitability of the connection between doing the work and finding success in Young Living, because it's not a mystery. You know, for example, if you talk to 2 people a day, that's 700 plus people a year. And any Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living can tell you. In fact, you could go ask anybody that's successful in any network marketing company, and you ask them, hey, if I talk to 700 people a year, how many years would it take me to earn $10,000 a month? And I'm telling you, almost all of them will tell you, gee, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3, 4 years at the most. Why? And listen to this, and then I'll take a break and try to mute somebody else. Here's why, folks. And this is why you hear the statistic, you know, 99% of the people that pursue success in network marketing fail. Why do they fail? Because they don't do the work. You know, if you just talk to 1 person a day about Young Living, had an actual conversation with 1 person a day for the next 60 days, 60 and 60, not enrolling them, not even presenting to them, just telling your story and asking them to take a look. If you talk to 60 people in the next 60 days, you would be 1 out of 100 people in Young Living. You wouldn't even be 1 out of 1,000. You would instantly elevate yourself to probably 1 out of 5,000. Like if you could if you could pick the month and year that you enrolled. Remember the month and year that you enrolled in Young Living, and consider that to be a class, like a high school or college class. So if you enrolled in, let's say, January of 2017, you're the class of January 2017. And let's say 100,000 people enrolled in that month worldwide. Out of those 100,000 people, do you know what percentage have ever talked to 60 people in 60 days about Young Living? It's not 1%. It's not even 1/10 of 1%. It's more like 1 out of 5,000 have ever even talked to 60 people in 60 days. Why? They don't believe the work is worth it. So they don't do it. But it's so simple to do the work if you believe it's worth it. And if you do the work, you instantly rise. Cream of the crop, rarefied air. Now, does that have you earning the kind of money you want to earn 60 days from now? No, but you keep doing it. You do it for a year or two. Oh my gosh. Blow your mind what'll happen. I promise. Pause.
Yeah, we're boom,
Wow,
right away.
that was part 2. You didn't know you were getting a part 2, did you? Hey, surprise and delight.
So if you want to ask Richard a question, just start unmuting yourselves. Put your hand up and unmute so people know someone's unmuting. And let's go asking him some more questions, guys, while we've got him for a few more minutes.
Before the sun comes up, because when the sun comes up, our signal disappears.
Okay, I'm going to mute. Come on in and ask your questions. Lou, I know you've got some.
Hey, Richard, how are you?
Good.
That's good. Look, you talk about all the numbers, but remember when we all had a great time in Hawaii and the community and just always getting together and having a great time. So I really appreciate you being on this call this morning or nighttime for you. But my question is, I've got a few, but I will ask one particular one. Are younger people joining the network marketing movement? Are you noticing that more? Because I know in our team, we've got a lot of younger people really seeing they want to do life differently. They want to do things differently. And particularly in the event of what we've had happen in the last 12 months, people are starting to think and see life very differently. So I just want to see or hear what your take is on younger people joining network marketing across the board, not just in Young Living, but across the board.
Yeah, I've seen it all over the world, and even way before 2020. You know, every generation is different, you know, different values. You go back to maybe our parents. For our parents, it was all about getting a good degree, getting a good job with a big company, lots of benefits, work there the rest of your life. And, you know, maybe in our generation, the stat is something like our generation changed jobs maybe 7 times in their career, where maybe our parents only once or twice. But our children, they probably had 7 jobs before they're 25 years old. Why? Because they don't really think about or care about staying with a company forever. And one of the reasons they don't is they've learned that companies don't stay around forever. Companies file bankruptcy and get rid of their pension obligations and reinvent themselves. You know, it's different. Owning a company today is more about maximizing shareholder value, no matter what you have to do that. Whereas 30 or 40 years ago, owning a company was more like owning Young Living. It was more of a mission, a community, a family, a legacy kind of thing. And so young kids, young people have figured out, hey, if I'm going to survive and prosper in the world, I got to take care of myself. I got to figure out, what do I want? And what the younger population wants, partly because of the internet. Now they see the world in a way that we didn't see the world. They have access to different cultures and different economies and different countries and, you know, geography. And so, you know, they want to be mobile. They want to live where they want to live. And sometimes that's in an RV, right? They just want to be more flexible. And network marketing is perfect for that, because you can live anywhere. And all you need is the mobile phone, and you can build an empire in 195 countries around the world, a customer base. And so they figured that out, and they are very attracted to network marketing. And I think 2020, just was gas on the fire for that. And one of the cool things about the younger generation is they don't so much have the Amway pyramid scheme stigma. They weren't really raised in that stigma. And so they kind of take a product line and a culture and a community and an opportunity at face value. It's a tremendous opportunity to start designing the culture of your team and your conversations to attract young people, because the younger they are, the longer their build cycle in Young Living can be, right? If everybody on your team was 20 years old, and you can count on them being active for the next 60 or 70 years. If everybody on your team is 80 years old, you're going to have to recycle, right?
And that's the great thing about Young Living. It's a billable income, right? So
right, totally.
I think Emma wants to ask a question. Emma, do you want to unmute yourself there?
Hey, cool. Is that working? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Richard. So wonderful to be able to speak to you. Share the business opportunity and start talking more. I find it a bit tricky because I'm in a lower rank and not, earning lots of the word, but to make it to sound like it's something worth doing to people that are just starting, because I sort of have to refer to people above me that are making more money, because that's what people look at and go, oh, wow, like I want to go and do that. So what did you have for people that are trying to share the business of, which is at a rank where it's too impressive yet to try and sort of.
So Emma, turn off your camera because your bandwidth is really weak, and ask me that just on audio.
Okay, perfect. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. I was looking for advice for someone who is in a lower rank like myself and trying to share opportunity with others. I can sort of be an example and be, like, this is how much I make a month, and make it more sort of inviting to people that I'm already talking to about it. Whereas obviously if you're in a high level, silver or gold or something, you can be obviously proof to people, and that's sort of a bit more easier in my eyes to be able to share the business opportunity. Would you have any advice on how like a lower member would share on like the benefits of the income potential?
Yeah, I got 3 tools for you. Maybe one you're already using. I always use the upline. Always use other people's stories. So
okay.
if you're a star and you're making $100 a month, you can certainly tell that story, but you don't know who you're talking to. So the person you're talking to may be very excited about making an extra $100 a month, or they may only get excited about making $5,000 a month. So a question you want to ask people that you're talking to, listen to the language of this question. It would sound like this: Emma, what's the least, really important word, least amount of money that you could be earning in Young Living, let's say a year from now, every month, the least amount every month that would have you feel like, hey, this was a year well spent. This is an awesome opportunity. I'm having fun and this is working. And I'm not talking about the most amount of money. What's the least amount you could be earning every month? And then whatever your answer is, then I want to show you how to earn that money. So take the focus off of me, the sponsor, and what I'm earning, and put the focus on personalizing what you want to earn. And the way I show people how much money they're going to earn is not in the Young Living compensation plan. It's too complicated for a new person. It looks like Greek, right? So I just use the 4-year career. I just show people, okay, look, if you get 4 people and they each get 4 people, you got 4 people here, you got 16 new people, you got a total of 20 people. If everybody's ordering $100 a month, your volume's $2,000 a month, you're making $300, $400, $500 a month. They can understand that. People don't understand things like, okay, I'm a star, and then if I jump through the hoops and do this, now I'm a senior star. What does that mean? I'm an older star. And then if I do really good, now I've gone from being a Hollywood star to now I'm in corporate America because I'm an executive. And then once I graduate from executive, now I'm in the mining business because I'm a silver and a gold and a platinum, right? These titles are like, don't use them. Not on new people. It freaks them out. Don't use the comp plan. It freaks them out. You could, so here's a couple other tools you can use. One is, and Susie can drop a link into this. She's really good at finding any link I mention in 5 minutes and dropping it in. So there's a video you can show people called the Marshmallow Test. You can just Google it. Just Google the Stanford University Marshmallow Test, which is basically a study that a woman did of a bunch of 8-year-old kids where she put them in a room and videotaped them, and she gave them all a marshmallow, and she said, if you don't eat the marshmallow, I'll bring you a second marshmallow in 15 minutes. So the experiment is about delayed gratification. So about half the kids ate the marshmallow and half the kids didn't eat the marshmallow. But the most important thing she did was she studied these kids for the next 30 or 40 years. This is an old study, the marshmallow study. She tracked their lives. All the kids that ate the marshmallow had less productive, happy, abundant, healthy lives than the kids that saved the marshmallow. So you could actually show that to people and say, hey, this is not an immediate income opportunity. Yes, you can make $100 a month. Yes, you can make $500 a month, but you can do that doing 1,000 things. The opportunity in Young Living is to actually build an asset, build some wealth, build some freedom. And even if you, Emma, are saying maybe you're only earning $500 a month, but if you show people the difference between earned income and asset income might also be called residual income or passive income, where the money is being earned by something you own, something you built one time that keeps paying you, like a royalty, like a license fee, like an invention, like music, something like that. So if you earned $500 a month, I don't know who's talking right now, but if you earn $500 a month, Emma, in Young Living, based on having, let's say, 20 or 30 repeat customers, you could show your prospect what's that worth as an asset. And there's a simple equation in the 4-year career book that'll teach you how to do that. It's called the rule of 200. If you're making $500 a month off of 20 or 30 repeat customers, that business is worth $100,000. Why? Because you'd have to own something worth $100,000 to pay you $500 a month in residual income, whether it's a rental house or dividend paying stocks or something. And so you may think you're only earning $500 a month and you're not successful in Young Living. But if you're an executive earning $500 a month and you've got, it's off of a customer base, a repeat customer base, you've already built an asset worth $100,000. Show them that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. I have your book, so I will go back to that. Thank you.
Good. Good.
Lisa.
Okay, take your hand down, Emma, now. You got that little yellow hand, and Lisa's next.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Lisa.
Thanks for that. You've kind of already answered my question. But we got an economist and we got them to, I can only see Alan, to do the figures of 4 people, just enrolling 4 people, and they stay on rewards. And my team were astounded. I was astounded when we did those numbers. And so that was so powerful when we were introducing people to the business. So my surprise was what we did, a mistake we did, I believe, was that we put the months, we put a time limit on, see what it could look like, if that makes sense. And that's where it sort of fell apart, because we realized it takes often people longer, that not everyone has that open mindset. So I guess my question is, do you separate when you lead with the business and you separate when you lead with the product? I can't see you.
I'm here.
Yeah,
keep
so
talking.
I
can
guess,
hear you.
so the way talking to 2 people a day, I see that is like, you know, fishing every day, and then someone will bite. And then that other approach, like you're saying, enroll 4, get them to enroll 4. It's much more palatable. Are they 2 different things, or are you talking about the same thing?
No, it's the same thing. The reality is, in order for me to get 4 people who are going to do this, so what is doing it? Well, they've got to be on the products every month. They have to be telling their story on a regular basis, not necessarily 2 a day, but they've got to be telling their story, and they've got to be inviting other people to take a look. Otherwise, those 4 won't get their 4. Make sense? So the only way you get duplication of 4 who get 4, or 3 who get 3, or 5 who get 5, is if the people you're showing in the diagram are doing the business. Not talking about doing it, not wanting to do it, not struggling to do it, but doing it. So then the question is, well, how many people do I need to enroll who say they're going to do it before I get 4 to do it? Well, my experience with that is about 40. But it depends how consistently you enroll them. So pace of play is very important. If I enroll 40 people in 4 years, which is not even 1 person a month, I cannot expect to get 4 leaders out of that. Why? Because I'm bringing each of the 40 people in to a dead environment. So I bring you, Lisa, onto my team, but I haven't enrolled anybody else for 6 weeks. And the last person I enrolled prior to that was 6 weeks before that. And the last person before that was 6 weeks before that. So as I enroll each of those people, they look around for, where's the fire? Where's the team? Where's the fun? Where's the community? They don't see anything. So they quit. But if I enroll you this week, and I enrolled somebody last week and somebody else 3 weeks ago and somebody else 4 weeks ago, you just joined a team of 4 fresh people. And each person is joining a team where there's fresh new people on the team. So they look around, just visualize maybe it was this Zoom, and you look at, like, these are all the people on the team, and these are the ones that just enrolled, instead of it would be just you and I on a Zoom, right? So if you enroll with a pace of play, so in everything I teach people this: if you want to build a pretty big team, you want to have the kind of growth probably all of you want, you got to personally enroll 3 or 4 people a month, every month. If you want modest growth, what most people would consider struggling growth, frustrating growth, you can enroll 2 a month. If you want to just keep yourself from quitting personally, enroll one a month. If you want to quit, don't enroll any. So if you enroll one a month, how many do you need to enroll to get 4 to do this? 400. You basically have to enroll an ace. You have to enroll somebody that doesn't care what you're doing, doesn't care what team you've built. They're just a total self-motivated leader. And there's people like that. You know, you've heard their stories in Young Living. They were enrolled by a dud, but in the male version, they're a stud, right? So they just, doesn't matter who their sponsor is or their upline is, they just go build an empire. Well, those people are about 1 out of 100. You know, that's kind of the elite unicorn leader. You don't want to try to build a network marketing empire based on those people, because you got to enroll 100 people just to find one, right? You want to build your empire with the next 10 or 20%. So if you think about 100 people, let's say the bottom 50%, you know, they're going to flame out. They're just wannabes. They sign up, but they quit in 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks. And maybe the next 40 people, they get on ER, they stick, they're customers. The top 10 people, you want to build your empire with those people. So 9 of those 10 are not unicorns. They're people like us, right? So you got to enroll us in a nurturing, exciting environment. So if you enroll 3 or 4 a month, then you could have your 4 within a year. And maybe you'll have them in 6 months. And of course, you know, building a network marketing does not work the way it works mathematically. It's never 4 who get 4 who get 4. It's 1 who gets 4. And 1 of those 4 gets 40. And 3 of those 4, you know, so you get a power leg, you know, a strong leg, and it's random. It's like rabbits breeding. It's like lilies on a pond. It's random. You don't know how many are going to do what, but your job is to get your 4. And how do you get your 4? Not enrolling one like 30 and 30. Don't ever sign up for one of those 30 and 30 programs. Total waste of money and time and effort. That's like 1 out of 5,000 people will ever enroll 30 people in 30 days. And it's abusive to the people you enroll, because you don't have any time to spend with them, to onboard them, to coach them and train them. And nobody on your team can duplicate it. So you're like Wonder Woman and they're feeling like losers because they can't do it. Just get on a pace of 3 or 4 a month and teach your people to get on that pace. And you'll, within 4 or 5 years, have a mind-blowing team. And it won't come the first year, Lisa. And if you were my new person, I would show you the Marshmallow Test and I'd say, hey, let's take that penny a day, you know, in the 4-year career. I don't know what page it's on, but take the penny a day. Hoping I can find it. Show them how the penny builds. But on day 29, the penny's worth $2.5 million. But on day 30, it's worth $5 million. What's the penny worth after day 15? You know, if you take a penny and double it every day for 30 days, it's worth $5 million. You know what it's worth on day 15? A lot of people will say 2.5 million. Why? They don't understand compounding. They don't understand network marketing. They don't understand exponential growth. The penny is worth $163.80 on day 15. And if you're focused on that $163.80, you're going to quit by day 15. Why? Because it's not worth it. But if you understand that the riches in network marketing come with compounding, it's just like saving money. You know, you sit down with an investment counselor and they say, here's how you're going to get financially free in your life. Save $500 a month for the rest of your life. And they show you the chart and you look at it and you go, so I'm going to sacrifice and scrimp and live a simple, no frills life for the next 15 years and I'm only going to have $200,000? Yep. But in 20 years, you're going to have 400. And in 25 years, you're going to have 800. And in 30 years, you're going to have like almost 2 million. Compounding. These are the things you and I need to get good at beyond the products. The missing in Young Living's growth is everybody has a master's degree, a PhD, whatever you call it in Australia, in Young Living products. And everybody is flunked out of wealth building and network marketing. Can't explain it. Don't believe it. Just imagine that you're trying to enroll me in Young Living products and you don't know anything about them. You can't explain anything about them. You don't know what's in them, how they work, how they compare to the competition. You don't know anything. That's how most people are in building a team. So yes, there are things to study, but you only need to study enough so you're willing to talk to 1 or 2 people a day. You talk to 1 or 2 people a day, and you're a deadlock cinch.
Richard?
To be at least a gold or platinum in Young
Hey,
Living.
Richard, with the wealth building and network marketing, how do we find that? Like, where is that? Where can we learn that? How does that come about? Like, because we all are very good with the products and we all have a very good idea of the 4-year career. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think everyone's got to get the 4-year career.
The 4-year career, that cover, by the way, is not our 4-year career. We have our own custom edition in Young Living. Kimmy has her own custom edition. This is the Young Living edition, if you can see Young Living Special Edition. I don't think I have my Young Living edition in here. The 4-year career, if you're not part of my Facebook group called The Authentic Networker, The Authentic Networker Facebook group, it's free. Everything I teach is in there. Now, if you get in there, I am probably going to try to sell you a course, but I wouldn't buy it. As long as you're talking to 1 or 2 people a day, you don't need to buy anything I'm selling.
Except the book.
Well, you might buy the book. And you know what Adam Green did to go from silver to Royal Crown Diamond in 4 years is he gave a 4-year career and a personal note. He sent it to every new star that advanced on his team at every level. And he did it for like 4 years.
I think
Why did he do that? He wanted the new people on his team to understand this was more than just products. And now if you interview the diamonds and above on Adam's team and you ask them, what was the tipping point that had you decide to go from customer to builder? Most of them will tell you the 4-year career.
I can vouch for that too, guys, because one year we gave out a whole heap at convention. Everybody that attended our convention, we had a meeting and we gave out those books as well. And I tell you, the growth that we saw at that time was pretty phenomenal with people.
Yeah, you don't want to just give it out. You want to teach it, do a book study club, do a class on it, do a 30-day program so that people understand it. I think if you can kind of remember the analogy about, look how much you know about these products. And all that really allows you to do is get customers. And this will sound crazy, but you don't get any growth with customers. Customers don't grow your business until they decide to get customers. And now they become a builder. So a builder could be somebody who's just very casually, very randomly telling people about their product experience, maybe getting their products for free. Or a builder could be somebody on the journey to Royal Crown Diamond. They come in all colors and flavors, right? But until you inspire a customer to start hawking Young Living, what good are they? I don't know. What do you make? Like $2 a month off a customer? I don't know what you make, but.
Hey, Olaf, unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Olaf.
Hi, Richard. I'm here in the rain outside, so might be a bit noisy. You know how in the virtual office we have a column that says about to go inactive. How much do you value that information, and what do you do about it, and how much time would you spend to chase people up who once were Young Living members, haven't ordered for a year, but are going to about to go inactive? Because I know for my business, when I need work, I always go to existing customers or existing clients, and these people are once interested in Young Living, but now they sort of want to leave. So how much energy and time would you spend, and what would you do?
Well, I would take them very seriously, but I would use automation to not invest a lot of time. And so what I would do with everybody who is a member but not on subscription, let's say you have a team of 1,000 people and 600 of them are members, but they're not on subscription. And of course, maybe they're about to, go inactive, meaning they're not gonna place any kind of order at all. I would send all of my members that are not on subscription something to inspire them about Young Living products once every 2 weeks. And I would send them something once every 2 weeks until they told me not to. And I'd send them all the same thing. And it wouldn't necessarily be something about Young Living or the products. It could be something that just had them see the world and health and safety in a different light. And if I had 600 of them, I'd send them all the same thing. And 2 weeks later, I'd send them something else. And 2 weeks later, I might send them the thing I sent the first 2 weeks. Why? Because 99% of them didn't even open it. Right? So just keep sending stuff to people. Don't call them and spend personal time on them. Susie could drop this in if you haven't seen it. This is part of our Momentum Masterclass tool. But since we give it to everybody that's in the masterclass, they can use it and share it with their team. So it's not a secret and it's not proprietary. Any of you could find out about it and use it. But, you could send every member that's not on subscription the whatsunderyoursink.com video. Susie can drop that in link in the chat. That's a video that I produced that's about 4 minutes long that talks about all the toxins in your house. It doesn't say anything about Young Living. But if people watch it, they could have an epiphany about what's in their home. Another video that I would send all my members that are not on subscription is the James Lawrence interview. So, the Iron Cowboy. Well, I interviewed him for 10 or 15 minutes on Young Living. Why the products and why the opportunity? I would send that video to everybody that's not on subscription. I'd send it to everybody that is on subscription. I'd send it to all my builders. How often would I send it? Oh, probably at least once a month until they told me to stop. So yes, Olav, if you're still there and listening.
I'm here.
It's a very important segment of your business, but automate how you manage and nurture it. Don't spend personal time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
I cannot. Oh,
That was great, guys. Thanks heaps. I know Richard's given us a lot of his time at the moment, and obviously we've got another live that we're starting another 7 minutes on the other page on product.
and guess who that is, Richard? I got
Mary.
No, that's next Sunday. I got Dr. Carolyn DeMarco. I'm interviewing her, and you know Caroline because
yes,
you know her very well. So I'm interviewing her and her what she's been doing with Gary as the operations that they did together back in the day in that makeshift medical facility. So she's going to be talking about what went on back then.
that's
so she's got a lot of experience with Gary. But anyway, look.
We really appreciate your time,
good.
Richard.
That's so good what you've said. Absolutely golden.
Powerful message.
Powerful message. If people just follow what you've said, this video will be back on the leaders page, so you'll be able to go over this as many times as you like.
And want to say a really big shout out to all you guys who came out on. We know how early it was for some of you. I mean, WA people had to get up at 4:30 in the morning to get on, but it's awesome. Thank you heaps, Richard, and power on, guys. Talk to 2 people a day.
Thank you. And we got to get on to the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.